Is 666 real? The truth no one wants to tell. In the silence of the night, when the lights go out and the mind begins to wander through the shadows of the unknown, one number echoes in the darkness. 666. More than a sequence of digits. For many, it represents something terrifying, mysterious, prophetic. But what is really behind this number? Are we facing a literal threat, a spiritual symbol, or a global conspiracy about to be revealed? The Holy Scriptures in Revelation 13 verse 18 present us with an enigmatic challenge. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. For centuries, 666 has been feared, avoided, even censored. Signs, addresses, and barcodes have been altered just to avoid its presence. But why so much fear? The Protestant tradition has always taken the message of Revelation seriously. Martin Luther, for example, saw the power of the Antichrist in the corrupt religious system of his day. 17th century Puritans saw in the alliance between church and state the prelude to the mark of the beast. Over time, different Protestant branches have tried to decipher this code. Reformers, Adventists, Pentecostals, Calvinists, and modern eschatologists all have offered interpretations, some more symbolic, others frighteningly literal. Is the mark a literal seal or a spiritual commitment? Revelation speaks of a mark placed on the right hand or the forehead. Is it a microchip? A genetic code? A digital implant? Conspiracy theorists have linked this prophecy to technologies such as RFID, cryptocurrencies, vaccine passports, and even artificial intelligence. But many Protestants warn, don't focus on the external and forget the internal. John Stott, one of the greatest Anglican Protestant theologians, suggested that the mark is more than something visible. It is a spiritual and voluntary alliance with the Antichrist system, a commitment to the values of a fallen world, control, idolatry, ego, and rejection of Christ's sovereignty. In this sense, the mark would be a choice of loyalty, a silent decision made daily. When one prioritizes the system of this world over the kingdom of God, many Protestant thinkers see in Revelation a denunciation of what they call modern Babylon, a global system of commerce, corrupt religion, and mass manipulation. Could we be unknowingly shaped to accept this mark? Corporations that know everything about our habits, platforms that manipulate opinions, governments that restrict freedoms in the name of safety. All of this seems to align with the idea of a world where no one can buy or sell without the mark, Revelation 13 verse 17. Protestant authors like Francis Schaeffer warned back in the 1970s that society was heading toward a point where freedom would be sacrificed for comfort and safety, exactly as Revelation describes. 666, code or identity. Many attempts have been made to calculate the number of the beast. Some interpretations suggest that 666, in Roman numerals or Hebrew gematria, could point to historical figures such as Nero Caesar. Others, like futurist eschatologists, believe the number is a symbol of man trying to equate himself with God. The number 6 represents man, created on the sixth day, and its repetition 3 times would be an attempt to reach the divine perfection of the Trinity, but failing. In other words, 666 would be the mark of a system that idolizes man and rejects God. So why does no one want to tell this truth? Perhaps because it's more comfortable to ignore it. Because exposing the spirit of the Antichrist isn't just about pointing outward. It's about examining ourselves. The true mark of the beast, according to some Protestant interpretations, may be invisible to the eye, but clear before God. It manifests in hearts that sell themselves to the world system, that abandon faith for convenience, and that trade the cross for comfort. That's why this message is so urgent. Is the end near? Some eschatological movements, especially among Pentecostals and Adventists, believe we are rapidly approaching the literal fulfillment of this prophecy. Others, with a more reformed view, see Revelation as a grand metaphor of the spiritual battle between good and evil, something that applies to every generation. But in both cases, the call is the same. This calls for patient endurance on the part of the people of God who keep His commands and remain faithful to Jesus. Revelation 14 verse 12. What if it's real? What if 666 is more than an enigmatic symbol? What if, right now, we are being silently prepared to accept a system that denies the principles of God's kingdom? The question is not only about the future, but about the present. The mark of the beast may not appear as something grotesque or obvious, but rather as a subtle choice, to conform or to resist, to accommodate or to stay faithful. Revelation is not just a book about the end. It's an urgent call to spiritual vigilance. It's a warning that before the Antichrist is revealed to the world, he may already be enthroned in the hearts of those who love comfort more than truth. The real danger may not lie in technology, but in dormant theology, not in a chip under the skin, but in a soul that has already bowed to the system. What if the mark of the beast is less of an imposition and more of a permission? And what if, by laying aside the word, we are already marking our foreheads with unbelief? The greatest protection against deception is not fear, it is faithfulness. And the only mark that truly matters is the mark of the Lamb. Because in the end, it's not just about a number. It may be about who you belong to.